If you're over 70, staying home is the best thing you can do for yourself. I turned 72 not too long ago, and somewhere along the way, quietly, without any announcement, I began to notice a change that I couldn't quite explain at first. It wasn't something dramatic. There was no sudden event, no sharp turning point, no moment that made me stop and say, "This is it. Everything is different now." It was softer than that. It felt more like waking up one morning and realizing that the world outside didn't call to me the same way it used to. The noise seemed louder than before, the pace a little too fast, and the urgency that once pushed me out the door every day had slowly faded into the background. Instead, I found myself drawn to something simpler, something quieter. I found comfort in staying right where I was, and if you're listening to me now and recognizing that same feeling in yourself, I want you to know there is nothing wrong with you. In fact, I would say the opposite is true. This isn't a sign that life is shrinking. It's a sign that your understanding of life is deepening. When you reach this stage, something shifts inside you. The questions you ask yourself are no longer about how much you can accomplish or how busy you can stay. Those questions lose their importance. What begins to matter instead is something far more personal, far more honest. You start to wonder how peaceful your days feel, how steady your heart is, how comfortable you are in your own presence. And that kind of awareness doesn't come from it comes from experience. There was a time when my days were filled from morning to night. I had responsibilities waiting for me before I even opened my eyes. Work to be done, people depending on me, goals that needed chasing, expectations that had to be met. I learned how to keep moving even when I was tired. I learned how to push through discomfort, how to show up, whether I felt ready or not. That was the rhythm of life back then, and I followed it without much question. Like many others, I believed that staying busy meant staying valuable. I believed that doing more meant being more, and for many years that belief carried me. But time has a way of gently correcting those ideas. After decades of giving your energy outward, something inside you begins to ask for a different kind of attention. It's no longer about proving your worth that has already been done. You've lived enough, given enough, carried enough to know that your value doesn't need to be demonstrated anymore. What matters now is how you feel in the quiet moments. What matters is whether you can sit with yourself without restlessness creeping in, and that kind of comfort, that kind of peace doesn't come from running around, it comes from slowing down. For me, that slowing down started to happen naturally at home. There's something about being in a familiar space that allows your whole system to soften. You don't have to stay alert the way you do outside. You're not constantly watching, reacting, adjusting at home. Everything is known. The light falls in the same way each day. The chair supports you just right. The sounds are gentle and predictable. These small things might not seem important to someone younger, but at this age, they carry a kind of quiet power. They create a sense of ease that the outside world rarely offers anymore. When I step outside now, I notice things I never paid attention. Before, the pace of people walking past me feels rushed. Conversations seem quicker, less patient. Even simple errands can leave me feeling more tired than they used to. And I've come to understand that this isn't because I've become weaker. It's because I've become more aware. I feel things more deeply now. I recognize what drains me and what restores me. That awareness changes the way you choose to spend your time. Energy at this stage of life becomes something you no longer take for granted. When I was younger, I could give it away freely. I could fill my days with activity and still wake up the next morning ready to do it all again. But now energy feels different. It feels valuable, not fragile, but precious. I've learned that every outing, every conversation, every commitment carries a certain cost. Some things give something back, but many things quietly take more than they offer. And once you begin to see that clearly, your choices start to change. Staying home for me became less about avoiding the world and more about protecting what matters. It gave me this space to decide how I wanted to spend my energy instead of letting it be pulled in every direction. It allowed me to rest without feeling like I was falling behind. And over time, I began to understand that choosing rest isn't a weakness, it's a form of respect. Respect for the life I've lived and for the years I still have. There is a kind of restoration that happens when you allow yourself to be still. It doesn't always look like much from the outside. Sometimes it's just sitting quietly with a warm drink in your hands. Sometimes it's watching the light change through the window or listening to the gentle sounds of your home. But inside, something important is taking place. Your thoughts begin to slow down. Your breathing becomes deeper tension you didn't even realize you were holding starts to release. This kind of stillness isn't empty. It's full in a way that's hard to describe. Unless you've experienced it, I know that some people worry about spending too much time alone. There's a fear that staying home might lead to loneliness, and I understand that concern, but I've come to see that being alone and feeling lonely are not the same thing. Loneliness has a kind of circulation to it, a sense of disconnection that can weigh on you. But solitude, when it's chosen, feels entirely different. It feels complete. It gives you space to breathe, to think, to simply be without needing to perform or respond to anyone else. Some of the most meaningful moments I've had in recent years have come from those quiet periods alone. It's during those times that I've been able to hear my own thoughts more clearly. Not the noise of the day, not the expectations of others, but my own voice, the one that had been pushed aside for so many years while I was busy taking care of everything else. And reconnecting with that part of myself has been one of the most valuable experiences of this stage of life. There are moments, too, when memories begin to surface, things I hadn't thought about in years. Some of them bring warmth, others carry a bit of sadness, but all of them feel important in their own way. I've learned not to push those moments away. Their process of understanding your life more fully, when you give yourself the time and space to sit with those thoughts, something begins to settle inside you. It's not dwelling on the past, it's about making peace with it. As I've grown older, I've also become more aware of how certain people and environments affect me. There are conversations that leave me feeling lighter and others that feel heavy, even when nothing difficult is being said. There are places that feel calming and others that seem to drain me the moment I arrive. This kind of awareness doesn't make you distant, it makes you honest, and once you see those patterns, it becomes easier to make choices that support your well-being. Staying home has given me the space to make those choices more freely. I no longer feel the need to attend every gathering or respond to every invitation. I don't feel the same pressure to explain myself or justify why I'd rather spend a quiet evening at home. There's a certain freedom that comes with letting go of those expectations. You begin to realize that your time doesn't need to be filled to be meaningful. In fact, some of the most meaningful days are the ones that are left open, unplanned, and gentle. And in those gentle days, I found something I didn't fully appreciate before, a sense of calm that stays with me, not just in the moment, but throughout the day. It's a quiet kind of Adina, the kind that doesn't depend on what's happening around you. It comes from knowing that you're living in a way that feels right for you now, not the way you lived before, not the way others expect you to live. The way that truly fits who you've become. There's also a comfort in routine that I didn't used to value as much, waking up at the same time, moving through the morning at my own pace, preparing simple meals, sitting in the same familiar spot. These small patterns create a rhythm that feels steady and reliable in a world that often feels unpredictable. That kind of consistency becomes something you can lean on. It grounds you in a way that constant activity never could. I have noticed, too, that when I allow my days to unfold more slowly, my body responds differently, I sleep more deeply, I don't feel as rushed or tense. Even my movements feel more natural, less forced. It's as if my body has been waiting for this kind of pace all along, and now that I finally allowed it, it's beginning to settle into a rhythm that feels sustainable. And perhaps that's what this stage of life is really about, not doing more, not chasing after things the way we once did, but learning how to live in a way that feels peace and true. Staying home has become a part of that for me, not as a limitation, but as a choice to live more gently, more intentionally, and more in tune with what I truly need. There's a quiet dignity in that kind of choice. It takes a certain strength to step away from the noise of the world and turn your attention inward. It takes courage to honor your limits instead of pushing past them. But in doing so, you begin to discover a different kind of richness in life, one that isn't measured by how much you do, but by how deeply you experience the moments you're in. And that, I've come to believe, is where the real value lies. And when you begin to live that way, something else starts to shift almost without you noticing it. At first, the quiet you create around yourself doesn't just stay outside, it begins to settle inside you as well. Your mind becomes less crowded, your thoughts feel less rushed, there's more space between them, more room to breathe. And in that space, your body starts to respond in ways that feel both gentle and profound. The tension you carried for years, sometimes without even realizing it, slowly begins to loosen. Your shoulders soften, your breathing deepens, your heart doesn't feel like it needs to race to keep up with anything anymore. I've come to understand that peace isn't only something we feel emotionally, it's something the body recognizes too. When your surroundings are calm, your body receives a message that it is safe, and when the body feels safe, it begins to repair itself in quiet, steady ways. Sleep becomes more restful. You wake up feeling a little more refreshed. Even digestion improves, and there's a lightness that returns to your movements. These aren't dramatic changes, but they are meaningful. They remind you that slowing down isn't taking something away from your life, it's giving something back. Being at home has also changed the way I move through my day. Physically, I don't feel the need to push myself the way I once did. There's no pressure to keep up with anyone or meet some external standard. Instead, my movements have become simpler, more natural. I stretch when my body asks for it. I walk slowly from one room to another, noticing how I feel with each step. Sometimes I stand by the window and just watch the world go by. These small, gentle movements keep me connected to my body without exhausting it. They feel right. And at this stage of life that matters more than anything else, there's also a kind of emotional healing that begins to take place when you allow yourself this level of stillness. Over the years, we all carry things with us, feelings we didn't have time to process, moments we moved past too quickly, memories we set aside because life demanded our attention elsewhere. When you finally give yourself the quiet space to be at home, those things sometimes begin to surface, not all at once, not in a way that overwhelms you, but gently, as if they've been waiting for the right moment to be seen. I've had days where an old memory comes back to me out of a conversation, a moment, a feeling I hadn't thought about in years, and instead of pushing it away, I've learned to sit with it, to let it be there without trying to change it. There's something deeply healing in that process. It allows the heart to soften in ways that constant activity never could. It allows you to make peace with parts of your life that may have felt unfinished before, and little by little, you begin to feel more whole. One of the more difficult things to let go of, at least for me, was the sense of guilt that sometimes comes with choosing rest. For so many years, we're taught that being busy is a sign of doing well. That staying active means we're still contributing, still valuable. So when you begin to slow down, when you start saying no to things you would have once agreed to without hesitation, there can be a small voice inside that questions that choice. It asks whether you're doing enough, whether you should be out there more, whether you're somehow falling. But the truth is, at this stage of life, that kind of thinking no longer serves you. You've already given so much of yourself over the years. You've shown up in ways that mattered. You've carried responsibilities, supported others, and done what needed to be done. There comes a point when you don't need to keep proving that anymore. Rest isn't something you have to earn at this point, it's something you deserve. Choosing to stay home, choosing to spend your time in a way that feels calm and manageable is not a sign of giving up. It's a sign of understanding what truly matters. There may still be people around you who don't fully understand this. They might encourage you to go out more, to stay busy, to keep your schedule. And often that comes from a good place. They want to see you engaged, active, connected. But sometimes it also comes from their own discomfort with stillness. Not everyone knows how to sit quietly with themselves. Not everyone understands the value of a slower pace. And that's okay. You don't need to convince them. You don't need to explain every choice you make at this point in life. Your responsibility is not to meet other people's expectations, it's to take care of your own. Well, Bebez, one of the things I've come to appreciate most, staying home, it's the sense of control. It gives me over my own environment. I decide how my day unfolds. I choose when to engage and when to rest. I choose who I spend my time with. And how much energy I give that sense of agency is something we sometimes lose sight of earlier in life, when so many things are dictated by obligation, but later on it becomes incredibly valuable. It reminds you that you are still the one shaping your days. There's also a quiet beauty in the simplicity of home life that I didn't fully notice before. The way the light moves across the room in the afternoon, the sound of rain tapping gently against the window, the comfort of sitting in a chair that fits you just right. These are small moments, easy to overlook if you're always rushing from one thing to the next, but when you slow down, when you give yourself the chance to really notice them, they begin to feel significant. They carry a kind of peace that doesn't depend on anything external, meaning at this stage of life begins to shift in a very natural way. It's no longer tied to achievements or how much you can accumulate. It's found in awareness, in gratitude, in being present with what is already there, a warm cup in your hands, a quiet morning, the simple fact that you are here, breathing, experiencing another day. These things may seem small, but they hold a depth that becomes clearer with time. Staying home allows you to experience those moments more fully. There's no constant distraction pulling your attention away, no schedule demanding that you move on to the next thing. You can sit with a moment long enough to actually feel it. And in doing that, something begins to grow inside you, a sense of contentment that doesn't rely on having more or doing more. It comes from needing less over time. I've noticed that this sense of peace becomes more steady. It's not something that comes and goes as easily as it used to, even when small challenges arise. There's a part of me that remains calm, that doesn't get pulled into the same level of stress or urgency. It's as if the quiet I've created at home has become something I carry within me. And that, more than anything, has changed the way I experience life. I don't see staying home as shrinking my world. If anything, it feels like I've refined it. I've let go of what no longer feels necessary, and what remains has become more meaningful. There's less noise, less pressure, but more depth, more clarity, more truth in the way I live each day. And that feels like a fair train. As the years continue, I've come to realize that what matters most isn't how much I've done or how many places I've been. What matters is how I've felt along the way. Whether not to let the bullshit days felt rushed or peaceful, whether I felt pressured or content, whether I allowed myself to live in a way that was kind to my body. In my mind, staying home has given me the best chance to answer those questions with honesty. This stage of life isn't about chasing excitement the way it once was. It's about cultivating a sense of peace that stays with you. Even in the quietest moments, it's about creating days that feel gentle instead of demanding. It's about honoring yourself for everything you've been through and everything you've become. So if you find comfort in being at home, I would say trust that feeling. If you notice that simplicity brings you more joy than constant activity, allow yourself to lean into that. And if you discover that solitude feels peaceful rather than empty, don't be afraid to embrace it. You're not missing out on life. You're experiencing it in a way that finally aligns with who you are now. Peace doesn't come from trying to keep up with the world. It comes from settling into yourself. And for many of us, especially after 70, the home becomes the place where that settling can truly happen. A place where the mind can quiet down, where the heart can soften, and where life, even in its simplest form, begins to feel meaningful again. So take your time, sit in your favorite spot, let the day unfold without rushing it, breathe a little deeper, be a little gentler with yourself. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to do everything. You only need to be present with the life that is already here in front of you. And if you've listened this far, I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me. I hope these words brought you a bit of comfort, maybe even a sense of reassurance. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon.